And then if you don't get there, I felt that too. If it was like, if it's not gonna work, we're gonna go do something else.
Do something else.
Yeah.
Well, but you see, the nature of this spot lent itself to that.
Martin Scorsese's list of favorite actors holds a shocking secret, a story of loyalty that was suddenly shattered. For decades, he built a film empire with a select few, the very faces of his most legendary movies. Their powerful bond, forged over numerous celebrated films, seemed unbreakable. Let's now uncover the stunning truth behind which actors' loyalty was ultimately betrayed. Number 1. Robert De Niro.
And just sort of see everything that I've done one last time in my life. I don't know if I'll ever do it, but I used to think I'd like to do it.
To understand Martin Scorsese's movies, you have to start with Robert De Niro. Their partnership is more than just a famous one. It's a legendary connection that has given us 10 incredible films over 50 years. They are more than just a director and an actor. They are two artists who seem to share the same creative soul.
It was what Dustin had said, though I had said it, what Dustin said was so nice, and it's wonderful when a fellow actor.
They didn't just make movies together, they explored the darkest parts of what it means to be human and created characters that audiences have never forgotten. Their story started long before they made their first film. They both grew up in the same area of New York City, Little Italy, during the 1940s and 50s.
No, I kind of enjoy it, especially if they do it well. It's great. I love it.
But they didn't officially meet until 1972, when another director, Brian De Palma, introduced them at a party. Scorsese instantly knew who De Niro was, remembering him as a quiet kid from the neighborhood. As they talked, they found out they had the same understanding of the world they came from, the unspoken rules, the sudden violence, and the kinds of people who lived on those streets. This shared history became the heart of their first movie together, 1973's Mean Streets.
Yeah, I just want to do a documentary on him because I had some footage. A guy followed him around in the 70s with Super 8.
De Niro played the wild and reckless Johnny Boy, a type of person both he and Scorsese knew well from their youth. On set, they barely had to speak. Scorsese wouldn't need to give a long explanation of why a character was doing something. De Niro just understood it deep down. This amazing connection led to some of their most famous and difficult work. For the movie Taxi Driver, De Niro truly became the lonely and angry Travis Bickle.
Did you each do lots of takes? Did you do lots of takes?
I forget how many takes we did. I don't think we did more than 5 to 8 or 9 at the most. Maybe less.
To get ready for the part, he got a real taxi driver's license and drove a cab around the city for weeks, wanting to feel the true loneliness of the character. The movie's most famous line, "You talking to me?" was made up by De Niro on the spot. In the script, Scorsese had just written, "Travis talks to himself in the mirror." He trusted De Niro to find the truth of that moment, and together, they created one of the most famous scenes in all of cinema. Their biggest and toughest challenge together was without a doubt Raging Bull.
I really can't explain it. It's a good, the story and the scenes are terrific, but I can't explain it. If I told you, I would just say, it's about somebody who kidnapped someone. And
to play the boxer Jake LaMotta, De Niro completely changed his body in a way that no one had ever seen before. He trained like a Real fighter to get the strong, lean body of a professional boxer. Then, after they filmed all the boxing scenes, Scorsese stopped filming for 4 months. During that time, De Niro traveled through Europe and ate as much as he could, gaining over 60 pounds to play the older, heavier, and washed-up Jake LaMotta.
I would say, let me meet some of the people who are the fans who wait for you, like here, outside and get an autograph stuff.
This wasn't just about looking different, it was about feeling the physical and emotional weight of failure. De Niro's incredible dedication inspired Scorsese, and Scorsese's artistic vision pushed De Niro to go further than he ever had before. The result was a film that was painful, beautiful, and completely honest. From the dangerously charming gangster Jimmy Conway in Goodfellas to their emotional reunion in The Irishman, their work has always been about a deep level of trust and a shared, fearless desire to show the truth, no matter how complicated or ugly it might be. De Niro created a partnership with Scorsese that seemed impossible to ever repeat, until a new young actor was chosen by the legend himself to work with the master. Number 2. Leonardo DiCaprio.
I was fascinated by this book. I mean, Jordan Belfort, looks at this as a cautionary tale.
A new century brought a new main actor for Martin Scorsese, one who could match his amazing energy and deep love for making movies, Leonardo DiCaprio. Their partnership has become the director's most important one in modern times, leading to 6 powerful movies that have been huge hits with both critics and fans. But this great partnership might never have started without the help of the actor who came before. It was Robert De Niro who first told Scorsese about DiCaprio.
Well, the first time I got an agent, they thought my name...
How old were you?
I was about 6 years old, 7 years old.
You got an agent at 6 years old?
I tried to get an agent,
right.
but I didn't.
After working with a teenage DiCaprio on a movie called This Boy's Life in 1993, De Niro was so impressed with his talent that he called Scorsese. He told him, "I just worked with this kid. You have to work with him someday." Scorsese never forgot that advice from his most trusted friend. Years later, when he was getting ready to make his huge historical film Gangs of New York, he remembered what De Niro had said and gave DiCaprio the lead role. That first movie they made together was a huge challenge.
I had a prostitution ring on my street corner. There were drug addicts in my alleyway. There was, I got...
The sets for Gangs of New York were massive, the story was complicated, and the filming took a very long time. It was during this tough process that Scorsese and DiCaprio built a strong bond. Scorsese saw that DiCaprio wasn't just a handsome movie star, he was a serious artist who was just as obsessed with getting every historical detail right as Scorsese was.
Making The Revenant was about man's relationship to the natural world, a world that we collectively felt in 2015.
And DiCaprio saw Scorsese as a great teacher, a living connection to the golden age of Hollywood that he loved so much. This shared passion for film became the solid ground their partnership was built on. They next made The Aviator, where DiCaprio poured his heart and soul into playing the famous billionaire Howard Hughes. He spent months researching Hugh Hess' life, especially his difficult struggle with obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD.
Right now, no, not at this particular moment. Right now, I'm just too happy doing what I'm doing, but, that's all in the future.
DiCaprio wanted to show Hugh Hess' mental pain in a real and respectful way, and his incredibly detailed performance was a perfect fit for Scorsese's careful directing style. Their work together reached its wildest point with The Wolf of Wall Street. The movie was a crazy, fast-paced story of greed and corruption, and DiCaprio bravely dove into the role of the crooked stockbroker Jordan Belfort.
Guys, can we be a little more professional here? You're laughing all the time. I got things to do. I was a bit of a smartass. I was 16 years old. I learned my lesson.
One of the funniest and most famous scenes in the movie is when Belfort is so high on old Quaaludes that he can barely move his body. This scene was created through close teamwork. DiCaprio studied a viral video called Drunkest Guy in the World for hours and worked with a coach to get the clumsy physical movements just right. On set, he and Scorsese kept pushing each other to make the scene crazier and funnier, while still showing the sad emptiness of that lifestyle.
It's called LDF, and we kind of focus on protecting, endangered species and their ecosystems. So
their partnership is a true one. They often spend years working on a script together before they even think about filming. They have long talks about the characters, the story, and why the movie is important. DiCaprio is not just an actor playing a part in Scorsese's movies, he is a true creative partner, a trusted friend who helps the master filmmaker tell his powerful stories to a new generation. But before the huge movie stardom of DiCaprio, another actor's incredible loyalty was key in getting Scorsese's career started in the first place. Number 3. Harvey Keitel.
At the New York Film Awards, New York Film Critics Awards, at Sardi's, I was sitting down having my dinner.
Long before the famous partnerships with Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio, there was Harvey Keitel. He was more than just an actor in Scorsese's early films, he was the first person who truly believed in him. Keitel's loyalty and raw, honest talent were absolutely necessary in helping Martin Scorsese go from a promising film student to a professional director. Their creative friendship is the foundation that all of Scorsese's other great partnerships were built on.
Well, I was working for the city of New York at the time. It was like out of a Kafka novel. I was a city employee, and this
They first met as young men in New York City in the 1960s. Scorsese was a student at New York University, NYU, and Keitel was an intense young actor looking for his big break. Scorsese was trying to make his first full-length movie, a very personal story called Who's That Knocking at My Door? The main character, J.R., was based mostly on Scorsese himself, and he needed an actor who could bring a real, tough, street-level honesty to the part.
Intense people with the need to descend into that place where they can experience things that are difficult
The moment Keitel walked in to audition, Scorsese knew he had found his J.R. Keitel didn't just agree to act in the student film, he became its biggest supporter. At the time, Scorsese was having a hard time finishing the movie because he had run out of money. The project was very low budget, using real locations and non-professional actors to fill out the world. It was Keitel's belief in the project that kept it going. He became much more than just an actor, he was a partner. He believed so much in Scorsese's unique talent that he helped him get the film shown to important people in the industry, acting like a producer and a promoter. This early teamwork was possible because they came from similar worlds. Like Scorsese, Keitel grew up in New York and understood the lives of young men who were struggling with their Catholic faith and their own identities. This powerful connection was explored even more deeply in Mean Streets, their next film together. In that movie, Keitel played Charlie, the main character who tries to balance his ambition with his sense of responsibility. Charlie is clearly a version of Scorsese himself, and Keitel's steady, thoughtful performance holds the entire film together.
All I could describe it as was, you know that party that you went to? You walked in and it was packed with people, and you saw that one girl.
It allows De Niro's wild character, Johnny Boy, to be as explosive as he needs to be. Their work continued in Taxi Driver, where Keitel played the creepy pimp named Sport. To prepare for the role, Keitel showed his amazing dedication to realism. He found and spent time with a real-life pimp in New York City. They would go over the scenes together, with the pimp giving Keitel advice on how to talk and act in a way that felt real. Keitel didn't want to just play a simple villain, he wanted to understand the person behind the evil actions.
So I go sometimes in the morning, I know I have to say it very quickly, like, Howie, 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 scream it quickly so he could get to the window before his mother does.
This deep need to find the human truth, no matter how dark, made him the perfect first actor for Scorsese. Even though they have worked together less often in recent years, their friendship has never faded. Keitel's early support and belief gave Scorsese the confidence he needed to become the director he is today. Keitel wasn't just the first actor to star in a Scorsese movie, he was the one who made sure that Scorsese would have a career at all. Keitel brought a raw sense of reality to the screen, but another actor would soon bring a dangerous and unforgettable wild energy to Scorsese's movies. Number 4. Joe Pesci.
You know, it's more exciting to do completely different things, to try to look different, to feel different, use other emotions, you know, because we all have all these.
When you watch a Martin Scorsese movie, the actors are like the different instruments in a symphony. Robert De Niro might be the powerful lead violin, playing the main melody, but Joe Pesci is the sudden, loud crash of the cymbals that shocks you and makes your heart race. Even though he has only been in 4 of Scorsese's movies, Pesci's effect on them has been huge and impossible to forget.
My partner in the band was sort of a stand-up comic, and he was an insult comic. He would insult the audience, and
he is the director's most explosive tool, an actor who can be friendly and funny one second and then incredibly scary the next. Their partnership started because Scorsese saw a special talent in Pesci at a time when almost no one else in Hollywood did. In the late 1970s, Pesci had mostly given up on his dream of being an actor. He was running an Italian restaurant in New Jersey to make a living.
The original thing was that I was supposed to play that part. And then Scorsese called me one day and he said,
One day, Scorsese and De Niro saw him in a cheap, little-known crime movie called The Death Collector. They were completely blown away by his tough and very real performance and knew they had to find him for the movie they were planning, Raging Bull. When they finally found Pesci, he wasn't sure he wanted to act again, but Scorsese and De Niro convinced him to take the part of Joey LaMotta, the main character's loyal but suffering brother. Pesci's small size was a perfect contrast to De Niro's powerful boxer, making his frustration and occasional outbursts even more powerful.
You know, the guy cut him off and practically ran him off the road, and just happened to stop in front of him at a light.
Right.
And, sometimes you get upset.
His performance provided the film with a much-needed sense of heart and humanity, and it earned him an Academy Award nomination. It was the start of an amazing creative friendship. Their most famous work together came in 1990 with the gangster classic Goodfellas. In his role as the short-tempered mobster Tommy DeVito, Pesci created one of the most frightening and memorable characters ever put on screen. The role was a perfect showcase for his unique ability to mix humor with danger.
When we work, I mean, when we're not working together, I mean, he's busy and I'm busy, so we don't get to see each other and hang out and talk or anything, but
the movie's most famous scene, where Tommy suddenly gets angry and asks, "Funny how? Funny how? Like a clown? I amuse you?" was mostly made up on the spot. It was based on a real thing that happened to Pesci when he was a young man. He once made the mistake of telling a real gangster he thought he was funny, and the man's threatening reaction truly scared him. He told Scorsese the story, and the director loved it so much he told him to put it in the movie.
I didn't know how to stop hecklers, you know, so it wasn't. And she was doing something in the middle of one of the things that I was.
To make it feel real, Scorsese didn't tell the other actors what Pesci was going to do, so their shocked and scared reactions in the scene are completely genuine. That one scene shows what makes Joe Pesci so special. He could make an audience laugh and then, in an instant, make them feel terrified. Scorsese used this incredible skill again in the movie Casino, where Pesci played the violent mob enforcer Nicky Santoro.
We never are apart after Raging Bull. We've been together. I mean, we still go out together and things like that. We spend a lot of time together and we talk a lot.
After that film, Pesci decided to retire from acting, preferring a quiet life away from the spotlight. But Scorsese knew that for his final gangster epic, The Irishman, he needed his explosive secret weapon one last time. It is said that it took more than 50 phone calls from both Scorsese and De Niro to convince Pesci to return. He finally said yes, and his quiet, thoughtful, and deeply scary performance as the mob boss Russell Bufalino was a masterclass in quiet power, proving his incredible talent was still as strong as ever. While Pesci could be terrifying, Scorsese's amazing ability to get truthful performances from his actors was never clearer than when he worked with a very young girl. Number 5. Jodie Foster.
My mother chose for me very young because I was in a public school and I was a little bit ahead of the classes, and I had always had an ear for languages.
Martin Scorsese has always been a master at guiding his actors to give amazing performances, but his work with Jodie Foster in the 1970s shows a special level of trust and respect. Even though they only worked together on a couple of movies, her role as the child prostitute Iris in the 1976 classic Taxi Driver is one of the bravest and most unforgettable performances by a young actor in the history of film.
Well, anytime you change an element of the filmmaking process, something changes, I think, because it was very collaborative with everybody.
Her work in that important Scorsese film shows his incredible ability to pull powerful performances from actors of any age, and it secures her place as one of his most important and notable collaborators. The decision to cast her was extremely controversial at the time. Foster was only 12 years old when she was offered the part, and the character she was asked to play lived a life that was completely different and much darker than her own. To make the movie, the crew had to deal with many legal and safety issues.
Necessarily anymore. It's my time to support other people. And I have something to contribute because I have experience and I have wisdom, but I don't have to play the same role that I played when I was in my 20s.
Because she was so young, child labor laws meant that a social worker had to be on the set with her at all times. Foster also had to go through many hours of psychological testing to make sure she was mature enough to handle the film's dark themes without being emotionally hurt. But the most important thing that made it all work was the deep trust between the young actress and her director.
When you do have time to get around to that?
I don't know. I suppose I would like somebody who understood my business.
Scorsese did not treat Foster like a little kid. He talked to her as an equal. They had long, serious discussions about who Iris was, why she did the things she did, and the sad situation she was in. He wanted her to understand the character's thoughts and feelings, not just to say the lines correctly. Foster, who was already a very smart and professional actress, responded incredibly well to being treated with such seriousness.
No, I kind of anticipated that's what would happen because my mom had told me, you leave for, it'll all be done.
She felt safe and respected, which allowed her to give a performance that was complex, smart, and truly heartbreaking. Scorsese also used smart and responsible filmmaking tricks to protect her during the shoot. For any scenes that were more adult or violent, Foster's older sister, Connie, who was over 18, acted as her body double. This clever solution allowed Scorsese to tell the story he needed to tell without ever putting his young star in a situation that was inappropriate or uncomfortable.
I think every thought and every emotion in the sun came into my head over those 5 days. And
the result of this careful and respectful work was a performance that absolutely amazed audiences and critics. Foster did not just play Iris as a simple victim. She gave the character a surprising strength, a sharp intelligence, and even a strange kind of innocence that made her feel like a real, complicated person. She was completely believable in all of her scenes with the much older and more experienced Robert De Niro, creating a strange and unforgettable relationship that became the emotional center of the entire film.
I don't know. I suppose I would like somebody who understood my business and who would be able to understand that when you're on.
She approached the challenging material with a profound understanding and a startling lack of sentimentality, conveying a wisdom far beyond her years. This rare maturity is what made their on-screen dynamic so mesmerizing and deeply unsettling. Her powerful work earned her an Academy Award nomination when she was only 14 years old and proved that Scorsese's gift was not just in directing big stars, but in finding the deep, hidden truth inside any actor who was brave enough to trust him. These partnerships show how much Scorsese depends on actors who share his deep love for telling stories. But which one of his great actors do you think created the most unforgettable character? Tell us what you think in the comments section and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.